Hello, today I will be discussing the critiques in which I have found for my peers. The very first one that I have is Dartalian Harris. First, I want to talk about Dartalian Harris's verbal skills. He demonstrated a strong and positive feelings toward the story in which he told us about throughout the whole entire presentation. His tone and his pronunciation of terms and the words throughout the entire presentation were clear and precise, to the point. The nonverbal skills is he held eye contact with the audience while telling his story. His moving back and forth, however, it did distract the audience a little bit, but his enthusiasm drew us back with his humor and the point in which he also discussed, which was going down and taking his wife to the trip to Hawaii. He remained cool and calm while speaking, and his content was very interesting to hear. His knowledge about the story, of course, he was familiar with it because it was a story pertaining to him and his wife taking a vacation together. His speech was well organized. He started out with an awesome introduction. The content was great, and he also had a conclusion. He remained within the time constraints. Lighting was suitable. The camera positioning was nice, and it was a quiet location for his video presentation. Next one I want to discuss is Josh Terrazas. His verbal skills. He spoke with a slight monotone, but I enjoyed the story and the detail of the story which he discussed. He pronounced the words and terms with what he was describing, and he continuously watched the time to ensure that he stayed within the time constraints. The nonverbal, for the most part, he continued to keep eye contact with the audience while telling the story. He cleared his throat a lot, which indicated to me that he was a bit nervous, but he kept his composure throughout the whole presentation. His content, I really enjoyed the storyline and the content of the storyline, but I thought he was going to elaborate a little more about the trip, as far as the postponed honeymoon because of his tech school. He was organized, of course. He had a good introduction. His content was good, and he had a good conclusion. Lighting was a bit awkward though, because there was a big opening in the background, which the sunlight came in, which kind of gave the glare in the background. But overall, his storyline was also awesome too. Now we'll move on to mine. The verbal skills. I want to say that after watching the video, I believe I spoke with enthusiasm, but and I really did have a blast telling the story. I think with the pronunciation of the words, I think I pronounced them well, but my southern accent was evident at times throughout the presentation. Nonverbal is I maintained eye contact and humor, because it was some humor in there between the front of the story and the middle and the end of the story. Content, the subject, of course, I was well knowledgeable on that because it was a personal story including myself and my wife. My topic was organized. I had a good introduction. The content was good, and I had a conclusion. I remained within the time constraints to ensure that I didn't go over. And the lighting, I think the lighting was a bit good, and the camera position was in a good location. And for the most part, I think I did okay, but there's always room for improvement. That concludes my critique for my peers as well as myself. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.